Welcome, Alpha Welcome to the first ever episode of Alpha TV. We are coming at you live. Thank you all for joining us for your weekly virtual hug. We know we are in unprecedented times. There is distance between us, but through that distance, we will find ways to connect with each other that allows us to be able to stay together. You see, because although we are apart, there is no way you can take away what is in our hearts, and that is a family. That is a bond of people that stick together through the tough times. And so as we come at you week by week, I want to share some good news, sharing some of the things that are helping us and what's happening in our community so that we can continue to rise up together, something that we always strive to do. So I'm going to start out with some good news, couple things, some full-time job offers from students that are out there that we have heard about. Crystal Casales, Sarah Prasad, congrats on your PwC offers. Some EY offers, Stacy Rowland, Serena Byfield, congratulations to y'all. Cisco, Karina Santos from Rutgers, way to go. United Airlines, Bruno Diaz, that's the way to do it. We also got some birthday shout outs right now. Angel Quimolon Rojas from UC Riverside, happy birthday. Today is your birthday. Thank you for being here with us. Sid Wilson, big friend of Alpha, the president and CEO of ACER, happy birthday to your brother. Julie Viao, the president of Intelligent Partnerships, who also happens to be the wife of our board chair, Daniel Viao. Happy birthday to you. And also to my wife, Idanis, whose birthday is tomorrow. Happy birthday to you, babe. Thank you guys for being here. Let's get ready. We're going to kick it over to Adria. Adria, the president of our Philadelphia chapter, is our special host tonight. Adria, are you there? Outstanding. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Damien. And I have the pleasure of introducing our special guest, a global business executive, international best-selling author, immigrant from Bogota, Colombia, and mother of three, Dr. Betty Uribe. Good evening, Dr. Betty, and thank you so much for joining our Alfamilia tonight for our first ever Alpha TV series. Our goal for tonight and this weekly series really is just to come together as a familia and provide inspiration to everyone and really just bring everyone together, as Damien mentioned, for a big virtual hug because we all need it right now. And I just wanted to have a conversation with you. As we look at the current climate, our entire world has been turned upside down in many different ways. And we are all witnessing the impact this is having on the healthcare industry and our small and large businesses and even the educational system. And as a business leader yourself, how do you see the business landscape changing for the better right now?
Well, if you think about the pandemic that's happening right now, there's been pandemics. Every 100 years, there's something that big that happens. If you remember, I mean, even just a few years, do you remember when the HIV a pandemic happened? I mean, there's just so many different things that have happened. And every time there is a pandemic, there is an opportunity for innovation. There's an opportunity to shift into something new. Something new happens. And right now it's we're having this conversation right now. You're in my living room and that's different. That's different. So how is this changing the way we do business? Things are happening at a much faster speed. I have about 5 or 6 different groups. I have local groups, statewide groups, national and global groups of entrepreneurs, and some of men and women, and some of them are just women. And what I'm finding is I'm able to go from one WhatsApp group of influencers, and Damien, you're in one of them, and then I share that information directly to another group, and then so it's easy to share the right information very quickly. It's also easy to share the wrong information very quickly, and it's easy to buy into something that could not be true. So we've got to be really careful about information delivery, but it's a very exciting time when you look at it strategically from a big global perspective of how we can communicate with one another, how we can learn from one another. I was on the phone with China, understanding how the future of our country is going to be. I'm learning from China. I'm learning from Italy. I'm learning from Spain. I'm also learning from all over the place. So it's really important, I think, in these times are times of innovation and times that we really need to take a look at the opportunity to shift, the opportunity to create that paradigm shift for us.
Yeah.
I see business owners that we're doing. There's one business owner that I'm dealing with, and he had done pots, individual pots, and now he's looking at doing individual pots for different people that need the privacy because the people are in their homes right now.
Yep.
So innovation, I think, is the name of the game right now. At the same time, keeping important what's truly important in our lives.
Absolutely. And now more than ever is our time to create opportunity for ourselves and for others. And on the more personal side, we were talking earlier about this, how this is the first time in modern times, or that I can remember anyway, that the entire world is experiencing the same thing. And now more than ever, it's forced us to realize, to your point, what's really important and what really matters. And for a lot of us, it's family, it's faith, it's our health. And it's our values. And so you actually posted a video this week on Facebook that I really loved, because it gave perspective on how we are going to remember these times a year from now or 10 years from now. And what we are doing today, right now, is going to form the rest of tomorrow. And to give the audience that's watching perspective on the video, it was a collaboration of different videos that we've seen over the past month across social media, talking about how health right now is our number one priority. A lot of times we don't prioritize our health. And then there being a rise of future small businesses because entrepreneurs have the time to be creative, and spending quality time with our families and truly being present is what matters. And now more than ever, we're finding ways to think outside the box. Like, for example, our Alpha TV series, I don't think we would have come up with this idea in our normal world prior to this. And so in times of crisis is when the best ideas come out of us, right? And so what are you doing to seize this moment and form the future of tomorrow?
You know, it's funny that you say in times of crisis is when the best ideas happen. In times of crisis is when you take a front row seat to everybody else's character.
Yeah.
And to your own character and to how you're going to behave. You know, I was talking to my husband about a few years ago when my brother was getting married in Mexico, and all of us were there. He was getting married in the afternoon, and so in the morning, while they were rehearsing, bride and groom were rehearsing, we went into the water, and we didn't know that there was an undertow, and it was an area where the two waters met, and so the undertow was pulling us. We didn't realize we'd been swimming about an hour, and everybody's a pretty good swimmer, so we've been swimming for about an hour, and then all of a sudden I heard my little brother came with one of those little boogie boards, and he said, "Hey Betty, why don't you take Costanza with you and hold her right there?" So, you know, if you can imagine this book being like the boogie board, I put her on top of the boogie board, and I kind of held onto it on both sides over her so that she would be steady. And then all of a sudden the water started going over us. And I remember telling her, "Hey, Costanza, the water's coming. Just hold on really tight." And really the water just kind of took us all the way around. And then I stabilized her. We did that about 3 different times. By the time that their time was, like, she was really scared. And then I started hearing this guy that I saw going back behind me to the right, and he was saying, "Please, please help. I'm drowning. Please, please help."
Oh,
my little brother had gone to help somebody else, and I could no longer hear him. So here come these guards, and they came with their board, and they're like, "Okay, can I help you?" I said, "No, take her first." And then, "Can I help you?" "Okay, no, take him first because I'm strong enough. Take him first." And then I started thinking yesterday, it wasn't until everybody was out of the water that I said, "Okay, now I can go out." And I think about that today, right? So today is a crisis. And so your question is, what am I doing today? And I'm trying to help as many people as I can. I've been helping entrepreneurs that are changing the way that the medical industry is going to look 10 years from now. So I'm giving a lot of time to that and a strategic advisor for that. I'm helping people, I'm finding myself, and I was making a list, people with masks, with testing kits, with hydroxychloroquine, with all kinds of different things coming from Ireland and coming from all over the place, and really focusing on what am I going to give, and not even focusing on am I going to get money. And this is the time when we need to really slow ourselves down, because I've seen some people that have come to me that maybe didn't have 100% of what they said they had. And then I needed to make a values decision. Am I going to be spending time with this person? Who do I spend time with, and who am I helping? By the same token, am I reaching out to my daughters? Am I reaching out to my son? Am I spending quality time with Juan Carlos? Am I reaching out to my family? I have a family group that I inform every day. I have another group of influencers that I inform. Information that's coming from the White House, from the Treasury, from SBA, a lot of information that's quality information. Am I really making sure that I don't get caught into this shiny object that's going to hurry up and make money now and forget about my values and forget about what's truly important? Because at the end of the day, how am I going to look at myself? I always talk about leadership, level 5 leadership, as putting a magnifying glass on myself and really observing and slowing myself down and observing how am I behaving at this point in time. Because 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 1 year, 10 years, 2 generations from now, what are people going to say about how I behaved today, right now, in the moment in time when the world needed me the most? And maybe it's not the whole world, maybe it's my world, right? Because Mother Teresa said, I don't have control over the entire world, but I do have control over my world. Absolutely. And what do I have control over, and how am I behaving today? What is it that's attracting my attention today? And that's what we need to really focus on.
Yeah, I love that. And it's truly understanding your values and what's important and what you can control, right? Where are you going to have the largest impact? And it's funny you mentioned making masks. I've seen so many videos of people making masks. My family, and they all have sewing machines. They're all making masks to support the healthcare industry and the professionals that don't have the proper equipment. And so it's just, finding ways to support each other without seeking anything in return. And I think that the impact personally is what we are all looking for. And that's what's honestly gonna have a lasting impact.
Somebody was asking me earlier today, and Damien, I think it was you, how am I able to mobilize? We were talking about this, is how am I able to mobilize so many people? And I was talking to somebody because I was on a board meeting, and in the middle of the board meeting, I sent a text to somebody and they responded immediately. I sent a text to somebody at the SBA in Washington, D.C. Can you imagine how busy the people are at the SBA in Washington, D.C.? I sent a text and I said, hey, they're saying that the PPP is being delayed. Is that true? Because I've got a lot of people here that are affecting a lot of people. Do you know that I got a text right back from him?
Wow.
How does that happen? It happens before. It happens by building trust with people. And you know how you build trust with people? Do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And be honest about it and show up as yourself. If you don't know, you tell them, you know what? I don't know, but I'm going to look. I don't know, but I'm just going to try it. That's how you do it.
And it's not being afraid to reach out and leveraging each other and leveraging the connections that you've built. I think oftentimes we make these connections, but don't necessarily know how to approach them afterwards. So that's incredible, Betty. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I've seen your work and all the help that you have been doing for a lot of people, especially small business owners. So for those of us,
need the most.
Yeah, we do. For those of us that want to have an impact, but just don't know how, what can we do to show up? And from our standpoint, what can we do?
I had a conversation with someone just yesterday, and I want to use her as an example because it's so perfect to what we have right now. She called me for her business, a very successful business. And they said, "Oh my gosh, you're bringing all of these people in." Because the thing that I started thinking was, who do I know that has a really big impact? And let me put them in this group of influencers. And so I did. I now have 60 people in this group of influencers, and they're at a national level and at a global level. They're all together. And so all of us have people that we've known that trust us. Mm-hmm. It's not what's important who we know. What's most important is who knows us and who trusts us. And those are the people that we want to reach out and say, how can I help? What do you need? The organizations that we belong to, we pick up the phone and we say, how can I help? If it's, I have a friend of mine that used to be the vice president of the Federal Reserve in New York. He endorsed my book actually, and we became really good friends. And I talked to him. He bought a sewing machine. He bought the mesh materials and the 3 materials, and he's sewing masks in his home in Boston for the hospitals. He is walking the dogs of the surgeons and the people in the emergency room. That's how he's helping. That is his world. So we have an opportunity to help, whether it's in our world. We don't have to touch the entire world, but we can certainly touch our world. And how much he said, I didn't even know how to use this sewing machine. I had to read the directions and
YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I had to learn how to do Zoom meetings on Facebook so that I could get Dr. Mark Goldston to talk about suicide and spousal abuse and child abuse on Sunday afternoon to family members. And I didn't know how to do it, but you know what? I got somebody, Linda, my new assistant, my new executive assistant. She's been so wonderful. Can you please teach me how to do this? Can you help me? And I don't know how to do it, but I'll figure it out. And if I have to go to YouTube and learn it, I'll go to YouTube and learn it. So whatever it is, that all of us have a genius that we bring to the table. Every single person has a genius that you bring to the table. All of us have people that know us and trust us. So make a list of 50 people. Don't stop until you have 50 people, because every single one of us that are watching this video have 50 people. Make a list and then say, okay, what can I do with them? What can I do for them? Can I leverage them? Do they trust me enough that if I send a text message, I need you to help this person, they will help that person? If I'm on a phone call, listen to how you can help. I was on a phone call with somebody from Washington, D.C., a Bible study on Saturday morning, and somebody said, there is a mother that has a daughter and she ran out of milk and she ran out of groceries. And immediately I texted my daughter and I said, hey, are you close to Pennsylvania? Can you take a grocery list? Can you take some groceries to her? And, she wasn't close enough. So, then you go to Amazon and you order it for them and then you say it to them, send them $20 worth of groceries or maybe $5 worth of toilet paper.
Yeah, I know, right?
Or whatever it is they need. But there's so many different ways that we can do un granito de arena. Just a little sand, a little grain of sand. And if we do many little grains of sand, whether it's just reaching out to somebody who's lonely, Adria, you don't have your family with you, maybe just reaching out to you and giving you that virtual hug and saying, hey, I care about you. You're not alone. I'm here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just something like that. That means so much to somebody. So it doesn't have to be huge. It's your heart, pouring out your heart to people.
Yeah, absolutely. And a small gesture can mean the world to someone. Really even though we think it's small, has a larger impact.
Yep.
I want to talk about your book, Dr. Betty. So a few years ago, you wrote a book called #Values, The Secret to Top Level Performance in Business and Life. And within that book, you listed top 10 guiding principles. Can you talk about what inspired you to write the book and the importance of values being at the forefront of our decisions, especially today?
It's funny. I wrote the book, #Values, and it's my dissertation study. And when I was writing my dissertation, I was thinking about how people were falling because the economy was going down and a lot of people were falling. And they were falling because their value system did not match their actions. And so I thought, oh my gosh, who are the heroes for the next generation? They're falling in academia, in clergy, in business, you name it. And in sports, everybody was falling. And so I figured that's the reason I wrote the book. And then, of course, I presented my dissertation and my when I presented it, I got honors on the dissertation, and the committee said, you have to make it into a book because the world really needs values right now. Oh my gosh, little did I know. So I got, the Vatican endorsed it, and the Pentagon wrote the foreword, and I ended up interviewing people from the White House and the Pentagon and business leaders. So that's why I wrote it. I wrote it so that I could get the book to every corner of the earth. Today, I'm helping organize a World Peace Conference in The Hague, at the palace in The Hague, with the Queen. And we're bringing leaders from all over the world, prime ministers, Congress people, and then business people, and the next generation. That trifecta is really going to help us take values to the next generation. So it's really making the business case for peace across the world. When you talk about the top 10, if we can put up those top 10, the top 10 are basically kind of what I lead with. And so it's my chapter 10 of the top 10. So I'll just kind of walk through them really quickly. Number 1 is lead with values. And I'm sure you can send this out to whoever is watching.
Yeah, we'll post them on our page.
Facebook page. But the first one is lead with values. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm doing a lot of business with a lot of different people right now and trying to create tools, education, access to capital, mentoring, and social responsibility. Teams is what that spells. Tools, education, access to capital, mentorship, and social responsibility to business owners across the nation. So when I'm leading with values is really important. Who am I associating myself with? Am I vetting out the information that I'm sending out? Am I checking to make sure that I have good quality information and I'm not just grabbing a shiny object that sounds really exciting and just forwarding it and creating a pandemic of a pandemic, right?
Right.
And then the second one is protect your brand. That's how you protect your brand. You make sure that whatever comes out of your desk, of your computer, of your fingers, on your phone, that you are speaking truth, in that you are checking the references to make sure that what you're saying is the truth. Find your own voice is number 3. Don't try to copy somebody else. Yeah. Use your own voice. Dress how you dress. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody else for someone, because they're going to see right through you anyway. Number 4, seek out champions. There's a difference between champions and mentors. The mentor will help you along the way. The champion will stake their reputation on the line for you. They will say, hire Adria. Make sure that Damien is the speaker because I am putting my reputation on the line for him. That's a champion. So seek out champions. Number 5 is inspire other leaders to be their very best. How do you do that? You expect the best, but you don't just expect it. You bring your very best. You add the most value. That's number 5. Number 6, and I'm reading from my book. It's chapter 10 on the book, so I'm reading right from it. Number 6 is leave a legacy. So what legacy am I leaving? So how are my children going to think about how their mommy behaved right now? Are they going to be proud that their mommy was a leader during this pandemic? Or are they going to say, oh my gosh, she made all these mistakes and she did all of this? So how are you going to feel about yourself? So what kind of legacy are you leaving? Number 7 is don't ever forget where you came from, and reach back and bring others with you. I was from Colombia. I came here to be poor. I cleaned houses when I was 12 years old and I babysat. And today I'm reaching out. I'm here with ALPFA because I believe in ALPFA. I believe in giving back. I believe in every single one of the people that you support. And we're going to bring them. We're going to reach back and we're going to bring every one of them with us. So don't ever forget where you came from. That keeps us very humble. Mm-hmm. Trust your instincts. You know, if you've done something for 6 years, then you are an expert in the subject matter. So trust your instincts. Your intuition is something when you've been in business for a long time and doing something. Number 9 is live a life of gratitude. That when you live a life of gratitude, you live a life of abundance. And when you see my posts this morning, I posted, what are you grateful for today?
Yeah.
And always live a life of gratitude. We don't do it alone, realizing that whatever we do, it doesn't take just us. And then number 10, lead with a higher purpose. You know, for me, God brought me into this earth for a reason, and I'm making an impact. So what is your higher purpose? And when you lead with a higher purpose, the minutia and the little things no longer matter.
Don't matter. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And as I think back on my life, I can apply all of these every day, really. Don't forget where you came from. That hits home to me.
Yeah.
And so thank you for sharing, Betty. Thank you. You mentioned it before I even brought it up, but I was going to ask you before we closed, and you posted it this morning, and I'm going to quote it so the audience can hear. It's, in this time of reflection or uncertainty, what can we be most grateful for? And so can you tell us, like, what are you most grateful for in life and overall?
I think right now, as I reflect on my entire life and my entire career, I think that God brought me on this earth for a reason. And I think all of us have a genius, and he's using my genius for the good of humankind. And I think I'm very humbled and just very grateful for having several tribes. You know, I was posting on LinkedIn this morning, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I've got this tribe, and I've got this tribe, and I ran out of room because I was putting so many tribes that I belong to that I can just call my own. And I think I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to have people's trust and to be able to make an impact that is going to be a lasting impact, and for living a life that I can be proud of, and that my children can be proud of, and that my children's children someday can be proud of, and being able to be not just that pebble in the pond, but a boulder in the ocean, and bringing values, core values, into a world that so desperately needs it today.
Wow, that says it all. That was really touching, and you are doing that. I learned about you not too long ago. We had a conversation, I think, a little over a month ago, and since then you've had a really big impact on my life, and I'm grateful for it. And I've learned a lot about you. I can't wait to read your book. I can't wait to apply all of these to my leadership and my work and with ALPFA and my personal life. So thank you so much for your knowledge and expertise, and for being willing to share with all of us. To your point, you're connected to so many people, and I think the most important thing is sharing your knowledge, because when we keep it to ourselves, there's no benefit in that. And so Thank you so much, Betty. God bless you. I wish you the best, and we're all going to get through this together.
Yes, we are. Absolutely.
Damien, I will kick it off to you to close out tonight's series.
Dr. Betty, that was amazing. Thank you for always being a champion for the Latino community and for all communities. You've been there for me since day one that I stepped into my role. And I cannot thank you enough for sharing everything that you are sharing. Audria, thank you for being our first ever guest host from the Philadelphia chapter. Very much appreciated. The opportunity for us to get together weekly, to be able to share some hugs weekly, is important. We hope that you all enjoyed. There's a few more shout outs that I want to make sure that we are doing. One to the University of Illinois ALPFA chapter for starting the ALPFA GIF challenge that started a viral community of all types of people talking about all the things that made them excited to be part of ALPFA. To all the people that are connecting. One of the things that we talk about is equity of opportunity is not the same as equity of responsibility. With increased ability comes increased responsibility. And I am seeing everybody out there leveraging who they are and what they are to make a difference. And I thank you all for doing that. And anyone who's thinking, I don't know if I can do something, you just heard the stories that Dr. Betty shared with us, and you know there are things that you can do. And so please make sure you are taking that initiative to do something that makes you proud. Dr. Betty, you make us all proud. Adria, you do as well, make us proud. Couple of things that we want to do. We say our purpose is connecting Latino leaders for impact. And so when we see other Latino leaders out there and other organizations doing good things for the community, we make sure we're shouting them out. We had some shout outs earlier. A couple more things we want to make sure that we are doing right now. So one, KPMG is doing a national webcast on COVID relief provisions for nonprofits. If you are part of a nonprofit, you know of a nonprofit that needs some help to understand how to navigate that, tell them to tune into KPMG's webcast. Check out their website for that. The Hispanic Star, check out the Hispanic Star on Instagram. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, they're going to have Beth Brady on. They have a daily series going on every day at 11 o'clock a.m. High Tech, the Hispanic IT Executive Council. Tomorrow, they're doing how to assure cybersecurity through a remote workforce at 2 p.m. Follow them as well. Take a look and listen to what they're doing. We are about making sure we are sharing messages and we are all in this together. Thank you all very much. Thank you for being with us. Un fuerte abrazos. Good night, everybody.